Welcome everyone to the Town Hall of Student Senate Elections 2021-2022. We're going to have our candidates basically have intros for 2 minutes, and we're going to ask them a series of questions. We're going to open it to everyone else in the audience, and then the candidates will have roughly 2 to 3 minutes to answer each question. I'll let you know when your time is getting closer, but also keep track of it yourself. Put a timer for 2 minutes for your opening, and then for answers, roughly 2 minutes. But if everyone else is engaged in the questions, we will give you more time for the questions. So with that, I'll pin Cameron, and we'll start off with his intro if he's ready.
All right, hello everyone. Can everyone hear me? Hello? All right, perfect. Okay, so I'll get started then. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Cameron Guan Lau, and I am a rising senior majoring in mathematical sciences. This is currently my first full semester serving for Senate. I was elected last semester as my major's rep, and I've been actively working in the PR committee, which has been in charge of next week's Highlander Fest, as well as the Instagram giveaways you've been seeing. Since I've only been in Senate for less than a year though, much of my involvement on campus has been outside. So here's some examples. Firstly, as Vice President of Internal Relations of NJIT Green, I helped bring sustainability into the honors freshman seminar curriculum through service projects where students audited waste generation around campus. Secondly, as part of RHA's 2020 Regional Business Conference Committee, I worked in conjunction with RHA and NJIT Green to propose a sustainability plan that resulted in nearly 100 pounds of food waste being composted and sent to local community gardens around New York. And finally, as recruitment chair for Alpha Phi Omega last spring, I devised a rigorous recruitment campaign that resulted in a threefold increase in new membership since the previous fall semester. So my goals as senior class president involve around one single principle: to make you proud that you attended NJIT. So how do I plan to do this? First of all, I want to bring back a sense of community to the senior class, and I plan to do this by going beyond senior week and graduation, working with student life to plan and host events throughout the year, such as monthly senior socials, competitions, and fundraisers. Secondly, to expand networking opportunities for seniors. I want to work with not only CDS, but also the Alumni Association and the Graduate Student Association to host networking events and guest speakers with alumni, graduate students, professors, and nearby companies. Thirdly, I want to increase the awareness for postgraduate education. I want to work with the GSA and with the Office of Graduate Studies to host events and talks for students to raise awareness for graduate programs, as well as the BSMS program offered by NJIT. And then finally, expanding senior outreach to the Newark community. I plan to do this through initiatives such as clothing and book drives, fundraisers, and collaborations with student orgs and other orgs around Newark, such as the Boys and Girls Club. I would be honored to have your support. Thank you very much, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Cameron. I'm going to start off with the first question. The senior class president is afforded the opportunity to create his or her own agenda for the academic term. Please list some ideas that you would like to incorporate within your agenda that will appeal to your diverse constituents.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So first of all, I outlined my plan sort of, but I can kind of go a little bit more in depth with what I've been specifically planning. So first of all, I believe that the pandemic has fractured our sense of community within NJIT. But as senior class president, or if, sorry, as senior class president, I plan to bring back that sense of community. So one of the ways that I plan to do this would be through monthly senior socials for seniors to come together, to socialize, to network with other senior students, and also for seniors to give feedback in regards to their graduation status, in regards to NJIT, etc. Secondly, I want to expand networking opportunities. Again, more specifically, I want to go beyond just nearby companies and alumni. I want to extend these opportunities to seniors to meet with also graduate students and professors, to learn more about graduate education, to learn more about getting a master's degree at NJIT, and to learn more about the BSMS program offered by NJIT. And then finally, I also finally, I want to give the students an opportunity to give back to the community. Specifically, I want to be able to have the seniors to make an impact around the city of Newark, not just within NJIT. I believe that NJIT has a lot of potential to make a really big difference in the Newark community. And unfortunately, I feel like that hasn't really been fully realized. In fact, in the Princeton Review, we're actually ranked pretty highly in having our town-gown relations being strained. So I want to be able to help in fixing this by giving seniors the opportunities to work with organizations around Newark, such as the Boys and Girls Club, like I said, Jersey Cares, for example, as well, and even places around the city of Newark, even outside, such as the Community Food Bank.
Great, thank you. Our next question is, how do you see yourself utilizing your Senate affiliation and resources to implement your goals? After all, this position is unique in that it acts somewhat as an independent entity, but still requires you to follow all active senator duties.
Right, thank you again for the question. So the goals that I have outlined are fairly big goals, and I admit they are fairly large. However, as senior class president, I want to create a committee with the senior class composed of senior student at larges and also composed of senior students in general to be able to have these goals realized in full. Obviously, being senior class president, there are a lot of tasks that are involved. Essentially, since being senior class president is essentially operating in a sense almost independently because they have their own goals alongside being a senator as well. So I want to be able to give the seniors a chance to give their voice and to give their ideas on what we can do to bring back that community. So firstly, I want to create a committee with the senior class to ensure that these events and these goals are met efficiently and fully realized. And with that, I'll also be able to allocate many of these goals to smaller tasks to be able to get this done efficiently. Having experienced myself working in a committee, I know what it's like to work for a very large goal. And I believe that based on my experiences, not only in Senate, but also outside, that I have the skills necessary to do this.
Great. We're going to open up the floor to audience questions for the senior class president position. If you'd like to ask a question, just call out, raise your hand, or put it in the chat. We'll give it about 5 more seconds before we give Cameron his opportunity to give his closing statement. So Portia in the chat said, what is one thing you'd like us to take away from your campaign?
Thank you very much, Portia, for the question. So I want to be able, through this campaign, I want to be able to bring back a sense of pride being a Highlander. See, I feel like a big issue, not just within the senior class, just within NJIT as a whole, is our lack of student pride, our lack of school pride, our lack of pride for being in NJIT, essentially. And as senior class president, I would understand that having a position like that would be very influential to many of the students in trying to bring back that sense of school pride. So hopefully, based on what I've said today, my goals and with everything that I've said, I hope that running for this position, that many of the seniors that are in this call today um, are aware that there are many ways we can bring back that sense of community, to come together as a senior class, to come together as a student body, to be proud of NJIT, to be proud of being in an institution that's in such an upward trajectory, in my opinion. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Cameron. And now we're gonna move on to your 2-minute closing. So just start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Firstly, I want to thank the election committee for setting up this town hall. I think it's great to hear from students about the concerns that they have for the upcoming school year. And I think it's great for the people that are running to have an idea for what the students want. Now, as a soon-to-be freshman, I was initially not happy coming into NJIT. I'm not afraid to admit that, like many of you, I chose NJIT mainly due to the cost. But what really got me to stay, however, was the community. I have made so many friends with people of various different backgrounds, learned many important life lessons outside of the classroom based on many of the roles and the positions that I have taken. And I've made many unforgettable memories with the people that I cared about the most. Unfortunately, I feel like the pandemic has fractured that sense of community that we used to have as a student body. But I don't believe that it shattered completely. As your student class president, I want to mend that fracture and to bring back that sense of community, to bring back that sense of pride, that we have as Highlanders. Now, if you have any questions, I will be in my office hours from 12:30 to 2:30 in this call. So if you'd like to come to and talk, to bring up your concerns, your questions, I'd be more than happy to talk with you. Thank you very much for listening, and I would be honored to have your support and your vote.
Thank you so much, Cameron. We're gonna move on from senior class president to the vice president of student affairs. All right, so welcome Lauren and Amira. For the audience, both of them are running for the position of vice president of student affairs. And we're going to give each of them a 2-minute intro. So just let me know when you're ready.
Who's going first?
Off with whoever wants to volunteer. We're going to ping pong.
I could go. Yeah.
All right, Lauren, just let me know when you're ready.
All right. Let's go. So, hi everyone. My name is Lauren Azer, and I believe myself to be the best candidate for the Vice President of Student Affairs position. The Vice President of Student Affairs is 100% about the students and listening to their concerns and making them really feel heard. Campus life has decreased exponentially because of obvious circumstances, and a divide between the students has really come to light. Both residential and commuter life have become rather dull, and I feel like I'm the best person to bring that life back to campus. In this position, I plan to implement new technology around campus and organize events that are both residential and commuter friendly. And most of all, I plan to take all student concerns into full, undivided attention and to work incessantly to find a feasible solution. This position is solely about the students, and it's solely about hearing from them and hearing their suggestions and formulating their ideas into a possible plan of action. This requires a person who is outgoing and goal-driven, and I believe myself to acquire both of those characteristics. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be a freshman representative this year, and in this time, I was able to gain a direct line of trust between so many students, not just the freshmen, and they have been coming to me with all of their ideas and their concerns and helping me out with creating all these solutions. And I was also able to meet with so many administrators to get their relationship and establish that relationship so they can help me reach my goals in the future. The position of VPSA is unlike any other position on Senate because it's 100% about advocating for the students and for making their time at NJIT more than just about the academics. NJIT is a great school for learning and earning your degree, but it also prides itself in school spirit and the livelihood of campus. While said livelihood might be missing right now from campus because of the pandemic, I know I'm the right person for this position because I have numerous goals and plans of action ready to start immediately if I'm elected. Thank you.
All Right on time, Lauren. Thank you. And Amira, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Amira Sitahal and I'm a second year chemical engineering student and I'm running to become the Vice President of Student Affairs. For the past year, I have been the chemical engineering major representative and an active member of the Student Affairs Committee. To give a brief overview of my contributions to this committee, I have helped to implement reusable bags in GDS as opposed to plastic bags to help NJIT go green. This past semester, I've also been working on a variety of different initiatives ranging from providing free, eco-friendly menstrual products to having a fire pit and solar panel tables across campus. If elected into this role, one of my priorities will be to oversee the progress and completion of these initiatives. Since I have been working on them all year, it will be easy for me to pick up from where we are and continue to make progress. Some new ideas that I have, though, is to create a donation program to give back to the city of Newark. This donation program would ideally be long-standing and a means of providing consistent resources to those in need. Another plan is to improve the food quality at GDS by working closely with David Luna, who is the head of food services at NJIT. I would also like to work with my committee members to create more NJIT student spaces and boost student pride by working with the president and the PR committee. These are some of my goals for the academic year if elected. In addition to these goals, I would like to assert my qualifications to oversee the committee. Not only have I built my communication skills, but I've also have experience managing numerous initiatives at once, which is critical to this position. Reaching out to faculty, writing proposals, and doing the appropriate research for each initiative are all duties that I have grown to be capable of. That said, I believe I am completely qualified to oversee this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira. We're gonna start off with you for the first question. So proposals are a large part of the VPSA position with financial, permit approval, and maintenance hurdles. How do you plan on navigating this landscape, and what are some tactics or strategies you plan to use?
I'm sorry, this question directed toward me, correct?
It's for both of you, but we're going to start off with you this time.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I have some experience writing proposals. So last semester, I wrote a proposal for the GDS reusable bag initiative. And doing that has given me a lot of experience in terms of what constitutes a proposal, as you said, doing research into the finances, reaching out to companies, getting estimates. In addition to that, I also have an understanding of like what goes into proposal, you know, how to phrase things and how to get approval. And since I'm currently working on a lot of initiatives, I'm also in the process of writing those. And I believe that some tactics for that is just making sure you know why exactly you're doing what you're doing and why, and like how to get the estimates for each company. And, you know, it's important to understand like how much money each initiative each initiative requires, because that is what you're presenting to Senate. And I believe that those are some of like the tactics that I have experienced with writing proposals.
Thank you, Amira. And Lauren, same question. Just let me know when you're ready.
All right, you can start. So I might not have as much experience writing VPSA proposals, but I was able to work with academic affairs, and I actually helped write one of the pass-fail proposals, and I was able to figure out what was really supposed to go into a proposal. And a proposal is honestly 100% about how you present it. It's not it's the way you formulate it, how you write, this is exactly what we want, and this is how we're gonna do it. So in any type of proposal that I will potentially in the future write, it would include exactly how much money we would need, how whatever project is in the works would get fulfilled. And it would just be a direct line of how and where and when, and answer every single one of those questions. So I might not have experience in writing the proposals, but I know exactly how they should be written because I've read all of them and I've seen all of them, and I was able to help approve with a lot of them this year.
Thank you, Lauren. We're going to start off with you for the next question. Aside from proposals, what are some initiative ideas you have, and what are some ways that you can use Senate's resources to drive them forward? And to clarify, you know, proposals are, you know, like written documents that we as Senate work on for a year and then approve them, where it's like a one-time purchase for a facility or something like that. While initiatives are, you know, long-term, they you know, include like public relations, marketing, seminars and things like that. So that's what I mean by initiative ideas. And to reiterate the question, what initiative ideas do you have, and what are some ways can use Senate resources to drive them forward.
Yeah, of course. So you can start. Some of the initiatives I have is one of my main ones is that I want to try to work with administrators and public safety to try to get the big parking deck prices cheaper. 75% of the NJIT commuters, 75% of the NJIT population are all commuters. And it's very substantial to pay $380 a semester to park your car, especially when most of these students are already paying tolls. So one of the main initiatives and one of the main proposals I want to work on is trying to see where we can fund this money to try to get the parking a little bit cheaper for our students, because financials are a really big part of college and it's a really big concern for a lot of the students. Another one of the proposals I want to work on is creating a Leave Your Legacy program on campus where seniors can submit artwork or mural or any type of way to leave their mark on campus for their graduating year. And that way, and Senate would fund both of these projects along with the school if possible. And those are the main things that I really want to work on throughout the entire year.
Thank you, Lauren. And Amira, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So to kind of reiterate some of my initiative plans, so one of my big ideas is to create a donation program to give back to the city of Newark. I think it's really important to give back to the community, and I would really love to engage as much students as possible in this. But a plan of action to get that goal completed would be to reach out to the Dean of Students and to get her input and have her help advertise and really build this program so it's long-standing and long-term as well. Another goal that I had mentioned was creating some student spaces. I've worked with Andrew Christ in the past, and I think that working with him again to maybe create some more student spaces for commuters and residents, I think that that's definitely feasible. And it's something that I could definitely set up a meeting with him for if elected into this role. And as mentioned before, there are some current initiatives that I'm currently working on that have yet to be completed. And I believe that with certain resources like the budget, for example, and just my experience with meeting with some of these faculty members so far, I believe I can really work towards pushing these initiatives so that they can be completed. As of now, they're a little bit stagnant and we're kind of waiting on faculty members for them to kind of do their part. But I believe that I'm quite capable of completing these initiatives and using the resources as best as I can to really fulfill student needs. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you to you both. We're going to open up the floor to audience questions. So Anuja says, how do you plan to navigate faculty saying no on an initiative? Sorry, I just got cut off. On an initiative that is really desired by the students. We're going to start off with Amira this time, and let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. So we actually had an instance where some faculty members seemed to kind of shut down one of our ideas, which was to provide free menstrual products in the bathrooms and to instill dispensers in the bathrooms to do that. So what we did with experience in this situation, we actually ended up setting up another meeting, and we just really insisted that the need for this for students, it's really important to make sure we represent all students in their needs in an equal manner. And so in that scenario and any other scenario where students say no to, where faculty say no to an initiative that is really desired by the students, it's a matter of really standing your ground and really pushing for what is needed for the students. And an experience, like I said, with experience in this situation, what's important is to set up another meeting and to really be respectful and polite while also, once again, asserting the needs of those students. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lauren, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason why a lot of faculty might shut down an idea rather quickly to a lot of these proposals is because the proposal itself at times might not be whole, and the faculty themselves might not understand the need for the students to have this, and they might not understand the means of which we're going to do it. So my plan to navigate through faculty is to really respectfully not take no for an answer the first try or the second try or the third try, and to really keep pushing at it and keep working for it. Because when someone sees a full plan with every single aspect of that plan figured out, it's really hard for them to be able to say, you know what, that's not going to work. So my plan to navigate faculty is to really work with them and to work alongside everyone I can to try to make the proposal as flawless as possible, so the obstacle of them saying no won't really arise as much.
much, Lauren. We're gonna actually end it off here for time purposes again. You will both get a 2-minute closing, and this question will start off with Lauren and Amira, since Amira started the last one. So, you know, I'm ready, Lauren.
I'm ready. So after this discussion, I still really believe myself to be the best candidate for this position. The fact of the matter is that the Vice President of Student Affairs needs to be able to speak up for the entire student body and not just act on what Senate wants, but all of the students of NJIT, and act upon all those concerns as they arise. A great VPSA cannot be afraid of any challenge because more often than not, the challenge is going to arise. But what matters is how that challenge gets tackled, and that is what's going to make a great VPSA. I know how to formulate a plan, assign roles, and discuss and debate possible outcomes with any administrative staff. And lastly, I know how to communicate with the students in a way that's going to make them feel heard. I plan to take initiatives on numerous projects in my time as VPSA if elected, including cheaper deck parking, bringing more school spirit back to the campus through many events, creating a new Leave Your Legacy program for students, and overall establishing an unforgettable and rewarding time on the NJIT campus. Although I cannot promise the success of each and every single one of these potential initiatives, I could promise to always advocate for the students and to never give up on their concerns, and to always explore every option to solving an issue. I promise to work to the best of my abilities as VPSA, and I hope to have won your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And Amira, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Before I express my gratitude for your time and patience with me, I would like to reiterate some key points. Not only am I prepared to oversee the current initiatives, but I also have plans of action that I believe are feasible. With a year's experience in this committee, I believe I am qualified to run it. Not only do I have an understanding of how to balance numerous initiatives along with my schoolwork, but I have further prepared for this role by sectioning off blocks of time to ensure that I will exceed the duties and expectations of VPSA. I am capable of delegating and inspiring students to take part in the initiatives. Lastly, I've developed a lot of skills in the past year that are necessary for this role. I've experienced speaking to faculty in meetings, doing the appropriate research, and writing proposals, which are key aspects of starting and wrapping up an initiative. If elected as the Vice President of Student Affairs, my overarching objective is to serve the NJIT community by doing my best to implement these changes to seek a better student life and experience for all. I believe that I'm experienced and prepared to achieve this objective. Lastly, I would like to say thank you to everyone for their time and attention. I am very appreciative of the opportunity to even run and share my ideas. Thank you again for your time and consideration, and I wish my fellow candidate the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you to you both. And good luck on the VPSA position. I'm gonna
Thank you.
spotlights and bring up the next 3 candidates. Same format as before. We're gonna go, we'll start off with just Chris, Miriam, then Sejal, and then we're gonna reverse that in order for the questions. So we'll start off with Chris for the 2-minute open. Let me know when you're ready, Chris.
Okay, cool. So I'll just start now. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out this morning to listen and get to know some of our candidates. My name is Chris, and hopefully by the end of this town hall, I'll be your choice for VPA next year. A little bit about me. I'm a rising senior biomedical engineering major, and I was on Senate for 2 years. My freshman year, I was the commuter rep, where I worked with the Office of Student Life during the founding of the Off-Campus Commuter Association to help that get started. And then the next year, I served as NCE rep. And in that role, I worked with the dean to estimate the amount of active engineering societies on campus for budget allocation. I also had the pleasure of serving on the Faculty Senate Subcommittee for Undergraduate Education, and I helped review all the NJIT course syllabi for adherence to the policies and draft up a potential pass-fail course policy. Last year, I stepped away from Senate to complete a co-op, and as a potential candidate for VPA, I want to focus my goals around the things that I noticed going around campus in my year away from Senate. So the first thing I noticed is that even though as senators, we think we're transparent, we don't actually make our goals and objectives that apparent to the NJIT community. In other words, the advertising that the Senate does for its accomplishments are not the most effective, and it's something that we can improve on. In addition, Senate could do a better job of engaging with the student population when working on campus policy changes. One thing that I want to work on with each senator is setting up a way for them to communicate with their peers whenever Senate is planning on taking up a large campus project. Another area that I want to work on is job opportunities for all majors. As NCE rep, I was informed of the very low student involvement in co-ops, And I also read several posts on NJIT Reddit about recent graduates struggling to get job placement in the new environment. And as VPA, I want to work with CDS on getting a larger variety of companies to attend job fairs and post those jobs on Handshakes, more oriented for all majors. And in addition, I want Senate to work on boosting student involvement in co-ops, whether that be advertising or working with CDS with resume reviews and things like that. Thank you for listening, and I can answer any questions about my goals later on.
Thank you, Chris. And we'll move on to Miriam. Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. Hello, everyone. My name is Miriam Sharabim, and I'm a rising biomedical engineering third-year student. Currently, I serve on Senate as the Newark College of Engineering representative, and I'm running to be next year's Vice President of Administration. On campus, I'm in the NCE Grand Challenges program, a writer for the Honors newsletter, and a BME ambassador. I'm also a member of the Pre-Health Society, the Engineering Honor Society, Tau Beta Pi, and Coptic Society. When I first came to NJIT, I was quick in learning my way around and loved the community at NJIT. I immediately saw the role students played on campus and wanted to take part in making a difference on campus and making our college experience enjoyable and fruitful. As being the current NCE rep on Senate has showed me the concerns of engineering students in this academic year, I hope to expand this advocacy to all NJIT students. One of the responsibilities of the VPA is to ensure that Student Senate is functioning efficiently and to make senators aware of their resources and guide them to achieving their goals, a responsibility that I have practiced at fulfilling. I say this because with NCE being the largest college at NJIT, goals are met through communicating effectively with the engineering major representatives and working as a team. The second responsibility of the VPA is to chair the Academic Affairs Committee and address academic concerns. As a current member of this committee, I gained experience in meeting with faculty and administrators, reviewing NJIT policies and documents, writing resolutions to academic issues, and listening and voicing student concerns. Next year's transition from online learning to being fully in person, in particular, will come with its own set of new challenges, obstacles that we have not seen before or can necessarily predict. As a listener, advocate, and problem solver, my goal is to communicate effectively with students to recognize these challenges as they appear and act quickly to address them. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. And Sejal, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Sejal Chawla, and I'm a freshman. I would like to give people a gist of my background before I talk about my why I am the best candidate for this position. I see opportunities on campus. I'm a freshman. I might not have enough experience compared to my other candidate friends, but I would not restrict myself to be participating in this. There are many international students who restrict themselves from participating in opportunities that are there on campus, and they end up feeling that they might have chosen a wrong, they might have took a wrong decision of studying abroad. And I want to make sure that all of them feel comfort and home when they meet anyone from the Student Senate. Also, if I talk about the skills, I have skills of finding the middle ground. I feel that the whole Senate community do everything for the students, but it's very important to be united amongst themselves. Firstly, then only we can do everything for the students. The more united we are, the more we benefit other students. And so for that, I think I have a good quality of finding a middle ground, by which I mean that taking the opinions from the peers, taking the opinions of the students, and then finding a proper solution to that, which is also good for the whole community. Other than that, I would say that since I'm a freshman, I might not have opportunities on the campus since it was a lockdown and I wasn't able to contribute more to the community. But I feel that this position might give me an opportunity to just explore this. And that's it. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Sejal. We're going to start off with our first question. And this time we're going to start off with you, then Miriam, then Chris.
Okay.
The Academic Affairs Committee has a tendency to have ambiguous objectives.
I'm sorry. Can you just, you said the question, can you just repeat it? Because I think my internet is lagging for some reason.
I can also send it in chat in just 1 second.
Okay, sure.
The Academic Affairs Committee has a tendency to have ambiguous objectives. And what that means is a lot of the times, you know, the committee you run as VPA is doing objectives like.
Sorry, I missed it. Oh my God, my internet is lagging.
Yeah, I can just type it out. So the question is really, tell us about a time you thrived in an ambiguous situation, and relating to the position of VPA when goals are not always concrete compared to something such as VPSA, where, you know, a proposal is concrete. You spend, you know, $10,000 and you finish the proposal and the project is done and you check a box, versus VPA, you know, there's no money, there's no like checkbox. It's like, you know, something, a goal that you improve on over time. So tell us about a time that you thrived in an ambiguous situation. What tactics did you use, and what characteristics do you have for problems like these?
Okay, so I see that there's an option of improving syllabi. I would say that a lot of students face this difficulty, and they think that the syllabi is something which might not represent their skills or their own personality. But I would say that during situations like this, it's very important for a student to understand the importance of that. Other than that, I would say that it's also important as a Senate community to talk to students and make them understand of it. And if I can say, apart from that, I can say I can talk to my peers, and I can ask about what changes can be made if it's the issue is more than like if the issue is not, we are not able to handle the issue. So yeah.
Thank you. And Miriam, when you're ready.
So I think when tackling ambiguous situations like these, the most important thing is to remain focused, to be proactive, and adaptability is a very important characteristic, because you need to see what you're doing and you be able to adapt quickly to make sure you're taking in the negative feedback or the criticisms to see what isn't working, and then to make it work, to change your strategy. If I really had to point out a specific experience where I dealt with this, I think this is something that I deal with all the time as a Sunday school teacher and just someone that's very active in my church, because in our services, there tends to be so many different opinions. And a lot of times, especially like learning online, for example, this is something that that was very new to us, teaching our kids online. So this is something that we had to constantly adapt to. Beginning in March last year, I tried making a booklet, an online booklet that students can use, and how many students saw this, how many students didn't. Then we tried, what about doing YouTube videos that were recorded? And then we went to, okay, maybe Zoom meetings are the best. So adaptability is definitely a thing that I've experienced, and I think it's something that's very important in dealing with situations like these. And just honestly remaining focused, knowing how to change up, even in like our classes. as an engineer, when you're hit with a problem that you don't know, or like something that you're trying to code for that you don't know, you have your where I'm starting, where I'm at, and then what I like to do is, okay, this is what I know, and then just having those little steps. They won't get you all the way to the goal, but they'll get you, at least you know you're getting closer, and then just taking that step, seeing where you're at, analyzing the situation again, and then moving forward with it.
Awesome. Thank you, Miriam. And Chris, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and did we get 2 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, I have a direct experience working with ambiguous situations with my last co-op with Johnson & Johnson. I remember specifically at the beginning of my rotation, my boss coming into me and giving me a project. Essentially, she let me be the owner of the project, and the project was to create a standardized way for the research and development engineers to help launch a new product when giving it off to the manufacturing engineers. And that process wasn't codified or standardized, and she wanted me to create a way to standardize it. And there's a million ways to standardize a process. So the way I went about going about it was I started off being organized and I had a plan. And then I informed myself on the situation. So I reviewed past knowledge transfers, is what they're called. I reviewed past procedures of that kind. And then after that, I got a knowledge base on it. And I reached out to the manufacturing engineers and asked them what they wanted to see. And I think that kind of plan is directly related to VPA. So with VPA, I would do the same thing. At the beginning of the year, I would come in with a bunch of goals or ambiguous plans for the year that I want to get done, just random academic goals, right? Then I go to my academic affairs committee, which is all the college representatives. And then I ask them, which ones are most important, which ones should we prioritize? And then I have a list. And then from there, reach out to the students on, how do you want to get this improved? So if it's academic integrity, like what aspects of academic integrity do you want improved? And then this way, as time progresses, we get a more solid base on what the goal we're trying to accomplish is and what our purpose is as a committee and as a Senate for that academic year. And then just work with faculty on, making our voices heard, and then taking their feedback, bring it back to academic affairs, and just bring a common ground between faculty and the students to get effective policy passed. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And for these next two questions, I'm going to actually bring it down to a minute each. The first one is, we're going to start with Chris. It's somewhat of Cameron's question. As VPA, you serve in a supportive role to the president. How do you plan to create a positive working relationship with the president while ensuring effective communication to properly represent the student body? I'm going to slightly tweak it to, how do you develop a positive working relationship with the president and the internal student senate? We've talked a lot about, reaching out to the external student body, but VPA does a ton of work within the student senate, and they're supposed to be the main point of contact for senators. So, Chris, whenever you're ready.
So in terms of creating an effective working relationship with the president, I happen to know one of the presidential candidates, so but I don't know the other one, but I think I'm a really approachable person and I'm a pretty fair person. So I think as VPA, my job with supporting the president is to also support them on their goals, but also keep them in check, keep what Senate's doing relevant to our roles as senators. And that just trickles down to the other senators as well. So in terms of creating relationships with senators and keeping them effective in their work, I think it's important at the beginning of the year, if elected, to sit down and speak with all the senators individually and talk about their individual goals. So this way, as the year goes on, I can check in with them and making sure they're up to speed. And then whenever we have new senators get elected, I want to introduce myself to them and give them the rundown on how Senate works, so they feel comfortable as a newly elected person. Because I've been elected in the middle of the year before, and it's kind of overwhelming when everyone else has already started and you didn't.
Chris and Miriam, whenever you're ready.
So when it comes to having a good relationship with the president, I would really emphasize on communicating effectively. And by that, I mean not just talking to them, but also making sure that you're listening to them, just letting them know that you are there and you support them, that little reminders, making sure that they're staying on top of things. And when they are stressed or when it can get overwhelming, which I'm sure it will, when they have an exam that they're taking that's really stressing them out, or a project that's due, just knowing that if there's something that needs to get done, you will be there to step in for them. And in addition to just expanding that to everyone in Senate, I would just like to really be a resourceful person, because that's typically who I am in my group of friends, and that's why I did as an NCE rep for my major reps. I had to answer some of their questions. I helped them draft emails. I help them word things, tell them, speak to your administrators this way, approach this problem in that way, word it this way. And then my goal would be to have one-on-one check-in meetings with each of them so that they can feel comfortable reaching out to me for help, and so that I can aid them in the changes that they wish to make.
Thank you, Miriam. And Sejal, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so as a VPA, I would not say anyone to come and reach out to me. Basically, I would make it very realistic, because if I would not want someone to come to me, even if they're not comfortable talking to me, I would give them the atmosphere of comfort to come and meet me, to come and talk to me about everything. But also at the same time, I would put efforts to check in, how are they, how was their day, what are the problems that they are facing. I think every member from the community are very much inclined towards the student community. They are very much very much attached towards the student community, so they know what the student community thinks, and they are much more aware about the opinions of the student community. But when it comes to the president and the VPA, I think we are the members of the community that have to deal more with the team, more than the students. I think we have to make sure that the whole team is united. We have to make sure that the whole team is on one page. I don't want any member of the team to feel that they are being ordered, or they are just following what the president and the VPA are saying to them. I want them to come up with opinions, to come up with ideas. I would consider them. I would make sure that every person feels is counted, it is considered, and I would make them feel a little more a friend, more like a friend, rather than being just a VPA, because it's about the
Sejal, I'm gonna
teamwork.
have to cut you off. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a minute for all three of you, but I kind of just let it slide till
Fine.
30, just so you can get your answers out. But we're gonna move on to the next question, or the last question before your closings. How do you plan on dealing with faculty for academic policy changes, and how do you plan to listen to students for their academic issues? Because, you know, hearing Jeremy all year, he gets tons of students that, you know, kind of vent to him about issues on, you know, exams were administered poorly, or like, you know, the proctoring systems are too invasive, or professors did X, Y, and Z. You know, how do you filter out what's a one-time situation where you help the student specifically, or if there's a school-wide issue, how do you be open-minded, and how do you deal with faculty that say no? How do you negotiate? Everything like that. So Sejal, we'll start off with you again.
Sorry, Anuj, do you mind putting the question in the chat, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or actually, this is basically Michael's question. I just, you know, elaborated on it. If I can send my elaborated version if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, thanks.
You want me to send it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Just 1 second before I let you start, Sejal.
Okay.
So in the chat, I just said VPA gets many emails from students complaining about proctoring exams, professors still by, etc. How do you filter out one-off instances where you help the student and instances where there are school-wide issues? In addition, how do you navigate faculty that says no? How do you negotiate or continue to push an idea? So because this is kind of a two-parter, I'm going to extend it to 1 minute and 30 seconds. So Sejal, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. So when it comes to of students complaining about the proctoring or the exams or anything like that, I would say that everything comes down to acceptance. But unless and until it's a very like a serious case, but everything comes down to acceptance. The more early student accepted, the easy for them to go on with the semester. For example, if I talk about proctoring, many students face difficulties of how it works. Students might have anxiety, exam anxiety. They might feel pressured when they when they give exams on the proctoring, through the proctoring, I mean. So I feel that what if we think from the professor's perspective or the department's perspective, I think that it's fair, because how would they know that the student is not cheating? How would they know that the student is not referring to something else unless and until they are viewing the students or recording the student from the proctoring? So other example I would give that when it comes to negotiating, I think we can go to the department, we can put the points that the students have, and we can discuss it, find a middle ground again, find something which is benefiting the students as well as the department as well. So yeah, that's how we can negotiate, and that's how we can tell the students to accept it.
Thank you, Sejal. And now we'll move on to Miriam. Let me know when you're ready.
So I believe that we have to remember that although the VPA is chairing the committee, you have all the college reps on the committee with you. So when it comes to filtering out what could be a one-time scenario versus something that's a problem across the board, there's nothing wrong with asking other people to see, hey, is this actually a problem that you see more often than not? And going about it that way. That would be the first thing. The second thing is that when it comes to faculty listening to you, I actually want to try to increase student representation, especially at faculty senate meetings. A lot of times as VPA, you'll find yourself being the only student in the room, but that's definitely a problem, and it shouldn't be that way, because if there's one category that will directly affect every single student, it is academics. And to add on a few other goals that I think answer this question as well, is that there are useful NJT documents that are like scattered throughout the website that students may not know about. And my goal is to make these documents more easily accessible and to encourage students to be more knowledgeable of them, such as the syllabus requirements, academic integrity policies, the course expectations, because when students are aware of what the university expects from its professors, they're also more capable of holding the professors accountable. And one last thing is just concerns about course evaluations and making sure that professors actually act on it and not just read through them. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. And Chris, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So about the part with the emails and filtering out, what's one-off instances and what's a school-wide issue, I think the first thing is to realize, any student that comes to us with a complaint or concern, that's a valid complaint and concern. It shouldn't be brushed off. And then, usually in the email, the student will say if it's about a specific course or professor, and in that case, I'll go to the major rep for that major. If there's no major rep, then go to the college rep for that person, and kind of let them handle the situation. And if they come back to me and it becomes a bigger issue, or it's more than we initially thought the issue was, then I can support them in talking to faculty, getting in touch with the people that they need to. But ultimately, I would like each college rep and major rep to own the one-off instances in their colleges or majors, and I'll be there as a supporting member. And then with negotiating with faculty, I think it's important to understand. I notice a lot of things being on the academic affairs committee and working with faculty is when we have a complaint or something we want to change in the school, we have to go to faculty, not just with the complaint but with our reasons for why it's wrong or why we should improve it, and then how we should do that. So that's the first thing that we should do. And then when faculty says no, our job as senators is to ask them why they're saying no, and take that reason and go back to the Senate and figure out a way to accommodate for them. And if there's no way to accommodate for them, then to stick to perseverance and show them how important this is to the students, and maybe point out similar policies in other universities, so we don't seem like we're bringing up something that's completely new or not done anywhere else. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And now we're going to have your 2-minute closings. Chris, you can start whenever you're ready.
Again, thank you all for coming out tonight, this morning, and listening to everyone. Some of my goals are really academic based, and I have a few that I want to work towards. One of them being reinvigorizing that pass-fail policy that I was working on when I was on academic affairs before. We got it approved, but it's kind of been halted. And I think that due to COVID and NJIT's special course grading policy now, that's something that we can bring to faculty, and possibly some of their concerns might be alleviated now, and that's something that we can codify for students going forward. But I'm definitely open to more academic policy changes. One of the things that I noticed a lot of students here talking about today was academic integrity, and that's something that I'd even think that was as big of an issue as students are making it seem. I think 3 students mentioned it here today. And that's like one of the big things I want to work on, is like these kind of events where I get to talk to the students and they can tell me what their academic issues that they want to work on in campus are, because then I can take that back to the Senate and be like, this is an important things that we need to work on. And just in general, like I said before, VPA is an ambiguous job. So, if any student has something that they want to, get done or work towards, that helps us as senators make our job less ambiguous, and something that kind of build that relationship between Senate and students, and then also help the senators, make more effective change on campus by holding it a little more accountable. So thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Miriam, whenever you're ready.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my vision for NJIT and Student Senate with you. As Vice President of Administration, I will ensure that NJIT students know us and the aid we can provide them with, thus encouraging them to voice their opinions. I plan to work diligently to make sure students are heard and to steer the Academic Affairs Committee and Student Senate as a whole in a direction that generally creates a long-lasting and positive impact on campus. The beautiful and intelligent minds of NJIT are what will fuel innovation for the future, and I want to make sure that this happens. I would like to close by quoting our motto, which is, if you can dream it, you can build it at NJIT. I dream of an innovative, positive, and successful community at NJIT, and that's what we'll work to build. So please help build a dream by supporting the team and voting for Cheryl. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. And Sejal, whenever you're ready. Sejal?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome.
Okay, so as a VP, everything gets down to teamwork, to finding a middle ground, talking to your peers, and building a strong community within the Senate, so that my peers and my fellow candidates can work for the students. I'm not saying I would not work for them, but I want to be the inspiration for the newcomers to volunteer themselves and opportunities that are there on campus, regardless of worrying about whether they have the experience or not. And I would, as a president, as the 2 members of the community, a president and a VPA, they work with the team, so that the team are so that the whole team is capable enough to work with the students. And that's how I see it. And I want to make sure that my whole team is feeling nice and feeling strong as a solid team. Moreover, when it comes to student, I want to offer I want to offer that they are comfortable over campus, because if someone is not comfortable, they would not find peace in participating. They would resist themselves, and they would have anxiety and everything. And first, having a positive atmosphere is the key goal. Then finding appreciating the cultural difference is also one of the necessary goal. I would want to make sure. Yeah, and thank you for hearing me out. I would say that good luck to my fellow candidates, and I hope we all do good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sejal. Thank you to all three of our candidates. Good luck on running for the Vice President of Administration, and we're gonna remove you from the pins and bring in our president candidates. All right. Same format as before, 2-minute openings, and we'll ping pong back and forth. Who wants to volunteer first for their 2-minute intro?
I don't mind.
All right.
Okay.
So let me know when you're ready and I'll start the timer.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Musa. And I've been part of the Student Senate for the past 3 years, and I hope to be your 2021-2022 Student Senate President. So I'm currently majoring in computer engineering with a minor in computer science, and hopefully pursuing a master's in computer engineering through the BSMS program. This past year has been challenging for all of us due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And as Vice President of Finance, I was able to work with the NJIT budgeting office to be able to refund students 35% of the student activity fees while still having funding for organizations to hold events and continue to run. Similarly, I worked with the Finance Committee to decrease restrictions on the finance bylaws for the sections of prizes, merchandise, and assets. This allowed many organizations to take advantage of this opportunity and to run to their best abilities. Lastly, working with the NJIT Board of Trustees, I was able to ensure that NJIT had a balanced budget during this past year without increasing tuition for the students. As we move forward to next year and transition back to in-person, my biggest goal is to increase interaction among students and communication among Senate and the students. This past year has created a gap among students, Senate, and faculty, and I hope to be able to bridge this gap as your president. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And Anuja, whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anuja Badetti, and I'm currently a 3rd-year computer science student in the BSMS program. I'm running for the NJIT Student Senate President to serve you for the 2021-2022 term. I think what you guys care the most to hear about is what I plan to do as president, and do I have the stuff to back it up? My main goals as president include the following. 1, I want to create social media platforms for each e-board representative so that they can relay school-wide changes and initiatives to the student body to increase visibility, because I know many students are still unaware of what student does, and I want to change that narrative. 2, I plan to hold senators and e-board accountable with regular check-ins to make sure that no role is being neglected and work closely with the VPA to do so. 3, I will continue to collaborate with organizations on campus to work on initiatives that can have more of a targeted audience and a larger impact. That's something that I started doing this year as VPSA, and I've already seen so many positive outcomes to this. 4, I'm going to prioritize in-person events to bring back NJIT's lively culture and work to have a seamless transition back to an in-person semester. And lastly, I want to lead Senate by example with my tireless work ethic, ambition, and compassion. I want Senate to be a place where people's complaints don't go unnoticed and that every student's voice is heightened through the voices of the Senate. I have the privilege of working as the VP of Student Affairs and have developed a strong understanding of navigating a role on Senate. My experience as VPSA has taught me to advocate for students with campus-wide changes, understand how to view finances on a macro level, and has taught me how to fight for the changes that students want to see. We have had great challenges this year navigating a virtual semester, but I'm confident that as president, we will hit the ground running on an in-person semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuja. And now we'll start off with questions. Since Mike went first, we'll have Anuja go first for this first question. This is somewhat of a situational question. So a student comes to you with criticism about the Student Senate and how they've been operating. How do you approach the situation?
So my first initial thought is transparency. Whenever I hear a complaint, as VPSA, what I do is I let my committee know. I think having that transparency with e-board or with Senate as a whole is really important. So we're bouncing off ideas and how to address that concern in the most appropriate and timely manner. I understand that there are going to be concerns moving forward, and as president, I'm going to have to combat them. So it's just having that transparency, being able to have as many ideas as possible, talking to past presidents, talking to people who have meaningful contributions to Senate and getting their opinion. So again, no concern is not being addressed.
Thank you.
So,
Mike, same question.
okay. The way I would go around someone coming to Student Senate with criticism is to sit down with them, listen to their criticism and what they have to say. Being able to held accountable for our actions is very important as the Student Senate and especially as president. Sometimes in the Student Senate, and I know sometimes I fall into this bubble, is like we live in our own little world and don't know what's going on with the student body outside, what's their viewpoint and what's actually how the student body views us. So being able to sit down and listen to the criticism, understanding them, and maybe it's a misunderstanding that could happen. A lot of times there are some misunderstandings that can be clarified, but if there's a point of action that can be taken for Student Senate to help this individual, that will be that will go through the proper channels, whether it's through other senators or through faculty. So that would provide them help. And not only this student, I hope in general to be able to communicate with the entire student body. I know on subreddit, people usually say the two biggest complaints that you hear about Student Senate is Student Senate does nothing, it's a waste of time, or Student Senate is corrupt. So being able to present what Student Senate does and how Student Senate behaves among student body, among the faculty, among the advisors is very important, and allowing us to have an open ear to lend to for people to come complain to us. We're supposed to be advocating for the students. So my goal is to have students come in to complain to us, to criticize us, and to help us. So only with those complaints and criticisms are we able to move forward as an organization and help continuing helping people. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And the next question will start with you first and then Anuja. With how diverse NJT student body is, no one person is able to adequately represent all of the unique views of the students. How do you plan to connect with students, or how do you currently and in the future connect with students outside of your usual social circles to better understand student sentiment?
So as Vice President of Finance, I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of different student organizations from different backgrounds and different cultures. And this may sound a little like bearing, but I'll reach out to them to help support me in reaching out to those student groups. It's impossible for me to reach out to around all 8,000 undergraduate students, or even my social circle, even the Senate as a whole. But over 120 organizations on campus that are able to meet and support different student groups with different cultures and backgrounds. They would be the best medium to help reach out to these individuals while allowing them to bring in any complaints that they have for their constituency.
Thanks, Mike. And Anuja, whenever you're ready.
So I think this question is really directing itself to being that as president, I need to listen to senators. It is unrealistic for me to have 8,000 individual conversations with every student on campus. And that's where I want to utilize senators and their constituencies to better address any problem. With such a diverse Senate, hopefully their social circles, their constituencies they have open communication on that front. And then one thing that I want to do as president is have one-on-one conversations with all senators so that we're bridging that gap between what students are telling their department heads or their major reps, and then those concerns being brought to my attention where we can able to direct Senate to be able to address those issues.
Thanks, Anuja. And next question is, I'm just reading some of the chat. So Cameron asked, as I said during my speech, I felt that a big issue among the student body right now is the lack of general pride in being NJIT students. How do you plan to use your position to make students proud of the university and bring back a culture of school pride in light of the pandemic? So I believe Anuj is going first for this question. Let me know when you're ready.
So I think the main thing here is I want to work really closely with PR and student life. The main reason why culture, NJIT culture and school spirit is lacking is really because of the pandemic, and putting as many in-person events as possible early on and bringing people who are off campus or still unsure or uncomfortable coming to campus, like having those experiences that promote student morale. So working with the PR committee to have more tabling events, more giveaways, more outdoor park events, listening to students to see what they want to see on campus. Also working with organizations, I think that's a huge staple of my campaign and the platform that I want to set. I want to work really closely with multicultural organizations, NJIT Green, ACM, every organization that has events, so we're able to broaden the audience, we're able to target those different communities and just promote school pride throughout these student organizations.
Thank you, Anuja, and Mike, whenever you're ready.
So I feel like the best way to increase pride is to reach out to organizations, as Anuja stated. However, I have a different medium on approaching this. I was having discussions with my finance committee, and I hope if I'm present, I'll be able to fulfill this, is to have an organization success grant. So if an organization is doing outstanding and holding wonderful events with great turnouts, why shouldn't we provide more funding for them if they could help the Senate increase pride in their university? Similarly, if we do hold up an event, I know we're 75% commuter school. So being able to provide maybe a free park pass for one day for the students who don't come to, or the students who don't have a parking pass and come in, pay the meter maybe just for 2 hours to attend class and leave. Being able to provide a free parking pass for that day allows the student to experience NJIT as a campus, not only academically, but socially. Lastly, working with Greeks and athletics. I know Greek life and athletics have reached out to us multiple times before in the past, trying to hold events and being able to support them and help them in any way possible during these events. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to increase, the goal at the end of the day is to increase pride for NJIT as an organization because how wonderful it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And the next question is coming from Sejal. I'm going to tweak down a little bit too. She said, how would you deal with a situation where you and the VPA are not on the same page and you end up having contrasting point of views? I'm just going to tweak it where, you and someone on e-board or a senator have contrasting point of views. For example, like the direction of Senate or a goal you all want to work on, or some goals that you're talking about, anything like that. So go ahead, Mike, maybe you're ready.
Honestly, I love hearing contrasting views because hearing contrasting views shows multiple views, shows multiple angles of the situation and the problem. And I generally like to sit down and discuss issues, whether how I feel or how the other individual feels, bring up facts and different means of communication, different evidence on one idea is better than the other, or through importance. And at the end of the day, if it's 1 against 5 or 1 against 3 or 1 against 2, you need to realize when you need to step down and allow your e-board to step up, because my goal as a president is not only to be a dictator and tell the e-board what to do, it's to pick up my e-board and make sure they're working towards a common goal and working towards the best of their ability while keeping them in check and helping them as any way possible. I'm here as a role model for my e-board to help them in any way that they see that they may need and to help them achieve their goals, not only my goals.
Thanks, Mike, and Anuja, whenever you're ready.
So I don't want to be a president that trailblazes their ideas and only wants and only acts towards their own goals. I want to have open communication with anybody that I may be arguing with in the future or discussing things with. I think the main thing that I want to do as president is have that kind of relationship with my e-board where we're one solid unit working towards one goal, as Mike was saying. I think when one person deviates outside of like the common goal, that is something that you should discuss and come to a common consensus. As president, I'm here to direct e-board and Senate towards common goals, spark like ambition and interest in ongoing initiatives, and make them more curious to take advantage of like their role in Senate. I never want to be that person that only is self-serving and only wants to trailblaze their own ideas. So I think just having that open communication and working with e-board to come to some kind of common ground is the best way to handle this.
And we're going to open it to more audience questions if they would like to ask. Give it another like 10 seconds. If not, then I'll just ask another. We'll have like 2 more questions and we'll wrap it up with conclusions. Okay, so part of your responsibility will be to represent the student body in meetings where you will be the only student voice. How will you prepare for these meetings and possibly have to stand up against intimidating administration? I think Mike started with the last one, so Anuja, you can start.
So I think my current role as the Vice President of Student Affairs has really prepared me for experiences like that in the future. Presenting yourself in a very professional way, creating those long-lasting and communicative relationships with faculty is something that's really important. I've also heard the word no a lot as the Vice President of Student Affairs this year, and I've learned that faculty is very interconnected. When one person says no, that is not the end of an initiative, the end of any change. It just means that you need to go to somebody else. You need to find that person who's going to be able to vouch for you, going to be able to support you and be able to help you in enacting any kind of change that you want. I think showing that kind of professionalism and creating those relationships with faculty so they are there to support you is really important as president, and having that kind of relationship where faculty, administrators, whatever, are interested in talking to me, and senators and the student body as a whole is proud to have me be like their voice in a lot of their concerns and changes that they want to see.
Thank you, Anuja, and Mike, whenever you're ready.
Can you repeat the question real quick? I'm sorry.
What's it called? So, in this position, you're going to be in a ton of meetings as an individual, and you're going to be the only student voice. So how are you going to prepare for these meetings and possibly have to stand up to an intimidating administration or like no's?
So initially preparing, obviously you need to sit down, figure out what this meeting is for and how it's going to go about, and what is the end result of what is the goal of this meeting? What am I trying to accomplish going into this meeting? Second of all, reaching out to senators or the student body in general to tell them that there's this meeting coming up, and to hear any concerns that they want to see brought up. So that way I'm not only representing my interests, but the entire student body interest, or at least to the most outreach we could reach out to. How to deal with the administrator or faculty you said that's not with opposing views?
Yeah, just like rejections and your ideas or proposals.
So like Anna just said, getting a no from one faculty member doesn't really mean like it's not going to happen. Usually there's some miscommunication among faculty and among staff in general. So And at the end of the day, faculty is just an individual, so there's nothing really to be intimidated about. I sit on the chair of the board of trustees with the president, the CFO, and two people who were like one person was the CEO of Panasonic, and the other one was an administrator for Verizon. And basically, these individuals lead the goals and set standards for how NJITs run. And I had to stand up and discuss some student org issues that was going on with the credit cards, with the banner system. And overall, we were able to successfully improve the system and hopefully better the student org. Better the student org process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And pretty much our last question, Sejal said in the chat, not everyone has the same experience. Some candidates have, some candidates are good at communications, some are good at management. So how would you manage to distribute work if someone has less experience, and how do you navigate that? And then Christina said both candidates have been on e-board for Senate already. What are some particular things students have brought to your attention that you used your position to advocate for? And what specifically were you able to solve those student concerns? So the question I'm asking based on those two audience questions is, you know, both of you have different strengths and weaknesses. How do you navigate through, you know, your personality or characteristics on working with students and working with senators? I think Mike is going first on this one. So ready.
I believe that the biggest thing initially is to understand what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. With that in mind, you could there's two sets of paths that could be taken to solve these issues. And I believe completing both of them is best for this position. Initially, you need to work on your own weaknesses with your own time, trying to figure out what's hindering you from being a competent president and how you could work throughout these weaknesses to better yourself. Second is to work with your e-board. At the end of the day, Senate is not just an individual or a couple of people, it's an entire organization. So being able to lean on your organization when you need to is very important in these types of situations where your weaknesses lack. Maybe another e-board member or another senator has this trait that can come into mind. For example, this year, there's many organization things that had to be done on a timely fashion. And it was hard for us as an e-board to plan something. And me personally, while being good at organization skills, sometimes I lack in the timeliness of it. And some of my senators, or such as Mark, my fellow e-board member, helped me with this, supported me, and allowed me to complete the deadlines while still meet that deadline without being penalized. Sorry. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And Nuja, whenever you're ready.
So to first address Sejal's question, I think the biggest thing is that I don't expect all the senators to be great at everything. I myself am not great at everything. What I do hope to do is that I have really close interactions with every senator, with every member on e-board, where I'm able to bridge the gap in what they don't know and what they need to know for that role, and have that same input be given to me in my role. I want to have that open level communication because I've never been president before, but I hope to get that experience, the advice from past presidents, from people on e-board, from people on Senate, to see what they were dissatisfied with and see where I'm able to like fix those like weaknesses that people in the past had. In regards to Christina's question, as VPSA, I've done a lot in just talking to faculty on concerns that people brought up. I guess the biggest thing that we did last semester was we got many complaints about the amount of plastic that was being used on campus and trying to make campus a much greener place. So this was a perfect situation where I was able to communicate really closely with NJIT Green to have to create some kind of product that would reduce the plastic on campus. And that's how we came up with the reusable bag initiative. We purchased almost 5,000 bags. Almost every student on campus has now seen those bags, and we're able to use them and are a lot more satisfied with the amount of plastic that's being used. I think that was like a perfect example of me collaborating with other organizations, having open communication on solutions to these problems, and also bridging the gap with people's life experience in creating proposals and whatnot. So I think as VPSA, I've been prepared to take on this role.
Thank you so much. And we'll start off with Anuja for your 2-minute conclusion.
So leading Student Senate is always a daunting task, especially during a semester where we'll be going from a virtual semester to a completely in-person semester. However, I can promise that I will fulfill this role to the best of my ability. As president, I plan to set the tone of Senate to be a place where students are comfortable sharing concerns while at the same time can just pop into the office on their way to GDS. I want people to see Senate as a place where work gets done while at the same time you're listening to music and hanging out with your friends. I want students to have no doubt in their minds that their concerns are never ignored and that we will try our hardest to solve any academic, student life, and club-related issues. Serving as the VPSA this year has taught me a lot in understanding the importance of any role on Senate. My experience on Senate has refined my voice as an advocate for students, which will allow me to meet with administrators effectively and push them to make the changes that our students need. I also understand how to navigate the internal politics of the university, so I'm ready to enact change from the moment that I start. If you guys take anything away from this, I want it to be that as president, I will be serving you all with open ears. The direction that Senate takes next year at the end of the day is up to you all and the concerns that we receive. I want to have the flexibility to be able to pursue multiple initiatives at the same time and have confidence that I will have the support and resources to accomplish any task. With your support, I know that we can make next year the best year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anuja. And Mike, whenever you're ready.
I'd like to thank everyone out here who's gonna either watch this later or who's here with us now for this opportunity to expand on myself as an individual and my goals if I become president. Just to reiterate, if I get elected as your president, my main goals would be to increase communication with the students, the Senate, increase student presence on campus, and to overall build a sense of community at NJIT. Lastly, I hope to advocate for an eco-friendly campus, and I believe I'm equipped with the best assets to fulfill this position. I am determined, dedicated, and open-minded to fulfilling all my duties and responsibilities that this position requires, and working to working to the best of my abilities. Vote Michael Musa for the Student Senate President. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, stop sharing that screen. Thank you to both candidates and giving excellent debates for this town hall. Elections are on canvas next Tuesday to Thursday. Thank you to everyone coming and watching these debates. We've already recorded them and we're just gonna clip them together and post them on YouTube and then, share that on our Senate Instagram and other platforms. Again, good luck to all the candidates. And, we hope to have a fantastic year next year as we, come back from COVID and restart normal life. So thanks all the candidates and good luck on the rest of campaigning.